Joseph is friend from school. Other than Rose, he's the most soulless character in SML because most of the time he's just sitting there, and if he does talk, his lines are dry and more people need to focus on his downfall. At this point, he's just known as the chill black guy, which isn't good enough because he's not even interesting like he used to be. And this is the same with most of Lavelle's characters now. Chef Pee-Pee's a black stereotype, Tyrone isn't necessarily a black stereotype, but when I hear him talk, I just feel like I'm watching Joseph or Chef Pee-Pee. All their personalities feel like the same character. The reason why I don't complain about Chef Pee-Pee as much as other people do is because at least he's funny most of the time, but Joseph has no emotion anymore. Cody doesn't interact with him, and Junior doesn't give Joseph's lines as much thought as he gives Cody's lines, for example. When I look at Lavelle's characters, I want them all to have something unique about them, to give them more individuality. Anyways, Joseph's never really been a character that relies on his personality to be intriguing like Junior and Cody do, but his environment instead. For example, even in the peak SML days, he was never the funniest, but he was the poor kid with a dead mom, and that's what made him cool in a way. I like the fact that he didn't have a real home because he could end up in the weirdest places like the bushes or on Junior's roof. Hearing his poor stories about him eating roadkill was cool too. He was just such an unpredictable character because you never knew what crazy situation or story was coming next. Now it's never mentioned that Joseph's ever poor anymore, which is a good thing because him being rich should be canon, and we'll get onto that later, but that doesn't mean you give his character nothing. Like, except from that one video where Joseph kills some kid and that cop, when was the last time we learned something new about him and got insight on his life? If I was Logan, I'd give Joseph, as well as all the other characters, his own series, and it could be about him still being rich, but the only way he's able to still afford his lifestyle is to be the leader of a gang, and his gang has beef with another gang, and the leader of that gang is Lil T. This would be a great opportunity to bring Lil T back, who never gets any screen time anymore, and the gag of the series can be that Lil T and Joseph both don't know that each other are the leaders of the gangs, so they never talk, which also gives Lavelle an excuse not to have to play two characters at once. Whether Junior or Cody know that Joseph's rich now and have some involvement in the series or not, I'm not too sure, but this would make Joseph's character way more interesting once again, not because of some new funny personality he's suddenly gotten, although that would be great, but because of the new cool environment he's in. Besides his gang being at war and how fun that would be to watch, we can also see Joseph's experiences with being rich when he's not fighting for his life too. For example, him still eating roadkill in his mansion rather than real food and struggle to adapt to being rich. It would be so interesting to get a new rich character that isn't your stereotypical Mr. Goodman, for example. If Logan made Joseph part of a gang and gave him an infinite amount of money, he'd never run out of any video ideas again. Anyways, Joseph should still be rich because there's only so much you can do if a character is poor forever, which is why I feel like Logan doesn't use that idea as much now. So wrapping up that arc of him being poor, not having a mom, and starting this new cooler arc would be great. One of my personal biggest problems with Joseph now, though, is the fact that him and Junior are equals, and most of the time Junior has more cool points than Joseph does, and that's not how it used to be. When you look back at Junior's iPhone, Junior's Xbox, all the time when Junior wanted to invite Cody over and Joseph would always get mad at Junior for that. There was a power dynamic between the two, with Junior being the one seeking for Joseph's approval and validation, and Joseph making fun of him or being too harsh on Junior back when Joseph said to him that he stinks and needs a bath, for example. Geez, back when Joseph was known as the clean one and had all the nice things. Crazy. Do I still want Joseph and Junior to have that exact same relationship now? Probably not, but I would at least want them to be more competitive with each other, just like Junior and Cody are competitive with each other in their arguments, but with Joseph, it's more action than filler words. Just like Cody should still want Junior's respect, Junior should still want Joseph's respect too, because he's meant to be the cool basketball player, right? Speaking of basketball, we never see him play it anymore, so I feel like we should learn more about Joseph's basketball journey and how it's going, and it could be a series with the premise of it being it starting off with Joseph destroying people on the court, but something happens to get Joseph into trouble, or he just gets distracted and curious, and it leads to him going on a cool adventure that has nothing to do with basketball, and then at the end he plays it again and goes up in the ranks. Even if it was just one video instead, I think it would be cool to see all the SML characters and what they're doing when they're not just sitting on the red couch yapping all the time, and especially the more soulless characters like Rose and Joseph. But yeah, I hope Joseph can one day become that random entertaining character that he used to be once again. Thank you for watching, like, subscribe, check out the Discord, and I also have a membership page now where you can get special perks such as early access to videos, custom SML video review requests, and much more, so check that out in the description if you're interested. Peace.